Good morning. Welcome to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. Thanking you for joining us and for being Cignal subscribers. Maraming salamat po. Let's start our week, our day with gratitude. Let's be thankful that we are alive, that we are healthy, that we have a job, that we have family, we have a roof over our head. Whatever thing you have, let us be thankful for it. May mga pagsubok, some of you may be undergoing trials, tests, but otherwise, if you are alive, then let us be thankful, okay? Because as long as you are alive, you can strive. Okay, today is April 17, 2023. It's a Monday, and it remains cloudy and overcast here in Barrio Capitolio, Pasig, and I do hope that the weather is all right or holding in your part of the country. Thank you for those watching us via Cignal TV, One News PH or One News, and of course those of you who also watch us via Facebook and YouTube. And thank you also to PLDT Home Fiber Optic Internet. Now let's go for our daily starter. And it goes, if serving is below you, okay, if serving is below you, leadership is beyond you, okay? Okay. Kung napakababaw para sa iyo ang magsilbi, tumulong o ano ba yung salita para sa serving, okay? Mag-ally or whatever. If serving is beneath you, leadership is beyond you. Be reminded of the example of our Lord Jesus Christ, who washed the feet of his disciples to point out, to emphasize, to drive home the message that if you are to be a leader, you must be a servant. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star. Ito po, not a nice way to start the week, but we knew this all along. We saw this coming, and apparently it's about to arrive. Farmers warn of rice crisis. Okay, farmers na po yan. An official of Farmers Group Federation of Free Farmers warned of a repeat of the rice crisis in 2018, saying the scenario being experienced at present on the spike of rice prices and possible shortage was similar. Yan po, no? The official, none other than FFF National Manager Raul Montemayor said that while the country's rice will be enough until June, a deficiency in the staple food could happen during lean months from July to September 2023. So bago magpasko, magjejeta na kayo. Okay? Iyan, because even as last week, if I recall, there was already some government official who was talking about importing 330 metric tons of rice or something to that effect. So, yun po, farmers warn of rice crisis. And if you see the center photo of the Philippine Star, of different varieties sold at a store in Cubao, Quezon City, wala pong bumaba sa 40 pesos. Aray ko, ayan na. And at the top of the front page, China is the one raising tensions over Taiwan. This is a statement made by Senator Risa Ontiveros, who also called for the expulsion of the Chinese ambassador after his veiled threats kuno, allegedly, the veiled threats that the Philippines should be concerned about the 150,000 Filipinos living and working in Taiwan. Ayan po. Okay, meanwhile, the National Security Council, now headed by Secretary Anyo, says that the Philippines won't meddle in China-Taiwan row. Okay? National Security Advisor Eduardo Anyo has assured Chinese Ambassador Wang Xilian that the country has no intention of interfering in the Taiwan issue. Okay? We observe the One China policy and subscribe to the ASEAN principle of non-interference in approaching regional issues. Our primordial concern in Taiwan is the safety and well-being of the more than 150,000 Filipinos living and working on the island. And listen to this, and we take grave exception to any effort by guests in our country to use this to fear-monger and intimidate us, Anyo said during Wang's courtesy call at the National Security Council. In other words, wag nyo kaming takutin. Yan po. The big photo at the top of the Philippine Star is apparently what is frightening, scaring, or annoying the Chinese. It is a wide photo taken of U.S. troops staying at the at Colonel Ernesto Rabina Air Base during Balikatan exercise in Capas, Tarlac last April 14. U.S. and Philippine soldiers are holding the largest war games that are part of a show of American firepower that has alarmed China. Ang kulit nyo kasi trespassing kayo ng trespassing sa baba, sa southern sa West Philippine Sea. Ayan, ngayon nandito na yung mga Amerikano. Okay. Meanwhile, still related to the possible rice crisis, government urged to ensure stable sugar prices and supply. Aray ko po. Heightened concern over the supply and prices of sugar has the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry cautioning the government against inflationary consequences, particularly in food and basic commodities. Yan po, no? So, the president should really pay attention to this because it is the inflationary effects of the shortages that has caused for his popularity or his trust ratings to be deflated. Ayan, okay. Meantime, good news for those who are anti-red tape or anti-delay. 1 day of e-travel smooth according to Bureau of Immigration. The full implementation of the e-travel system that required online registration of all departing and arriving air travelers was very smooth with no glitches according to the Bureau of Immigration. Kasi ang system po ngayon, if you are inbound, if you're an air traveler coming to the Philippines, you are required to register online para hindi na masyadong matagalan ang registration upon arrival, clearing at immigration. So it's all part of their modernization program. On the other hand, the holders of driver's licenses with 5-year or 10-year validity will no longer need to undergo prescribed periodic medical examination or PME according to the Land Transportation Office Chief J. Art Tugade, because they determined that the periodic medical examination has no direct or visible, or there is no empirical data saying that the periodic medical examination could prevent road clashes. Kumbaga, walang koneksyon. Okay. Now, let's go to probe sex trafficking on dating apps. Senate panel asked. Okay, dakilusan ng ligtas na manlalakbay or movement of safe travelers wrote to Senator Risa Ontiveros, chairperson of the committee, requesting her to look into reports of several Filipino travelers who have been going abroad to engage in sex trafficking by posing as tourists. Yan po, that is one of those things that is currently annoying hindi annoying, that has become a burden to the Bureau of Immigration. Filipinos who should know better actually intentionally leaving the country allegedly as tourists only to enter into illegal jobs, join up with recruiters to do cryptocurrency scams, lab scams, and ayan po, sex trafficking na rin. Okay, that's all about it. Wait a minute. Okay, that's about all we have as far as the news is concerned. We'll now go for a quick break to go to our guest. The time is 8:12 in the morning. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, welcome back to the program Agenda. Today, you will notice that I will be looking to a código. It won't be the usual very informal interview, because today we are going to talk about investments, okay? And I'm going to need the help, the guidance of an investment expert, financial expert. Because alam naman ninyo, hindi ko naman kinahiya. Ako ay may master's degree sa mathematics. Take 7 yung Math 11. So when it comes to investments, nako po, sa manuka na lang tayo magkita. Anyway, today, we are going to start with an investment program first involving pag-ibig. Because a number of people have spoken to me, particularly my wife, who likes to study these things, and she pointed out that, you should feature pag-ibig because based on what I've read, they're giving better returns. Kumbaga, mas maganda yung kita ng pera mo sa pag-ibig. Your money makes more profit with pag-ibig than with some of the banks. I said, that's impossible. That's insane. I don't believe that. Siyempre, sino ba ako? Lalo mo na ko alam dyan. So sabi ko kay Gab, humanap nga kayo na nakakaintindi, mahirap magmarunong. So, we will be talking about your money in pag-ibig. Is it really a good investment? Is it better than some banks? And then also, I heard SSS then, the Social Security System, has an investment platform or engine na pwede ka rin kumita. Marami sa inyo po, tinatago na yung pera sa bahay dahil ayaw nang pumunta sa bangko, which isn't really all that good. But let's find out. Gab, if you would, roll out the Betamax.
Vince Rapisura is a known financial expert in the country. In 2004, Rapisura established the Social Enterprise Development Partnerships, or SEDPI, a company that provides financial literacy trainings to overseas Filipino workers. SEDPI is present in 15 countries worldwide.
Okay, financial literacy para sa mga illiterate katulad ko. Okay, Vince, good morning. Welcome back to the program.
Hi, good morning, Cito. Actually, I'm coming from, andito ngayon ako sa Taiwan. We just conducted the training sa Manila Economic Cultural Office. So, inibitahan po tayo dito. Last time I was here, I was naman in Australia. No? Mukhang overseas ako parate pag nagtitsempohan nyo ako.
I'm sorry for that, but how is it in Taiwan? Bago tayo magkwentuhan ng seryoso, medyo kamusta naman dyan sa Taiwan? I've been wanting to, and some people are saying, pare, punta na tayo ng Taiwan, baka biglang maging China na rin yan eh.
Oo. Actually, that's also what I asked them kung ano yung kalagayan dito. And apparently, feel anything. It's still very peaceful here. I don't see anything unusual, even from the locals. Parang they just go on about their lives na as if nothing is of issue, walang security issues. Ang tinanong ko pa nga, naririnig nyo ba yung mga military drills, ganyan? Sabi nila, hindi naman.
Okay, now you're there on the invitation of MECO, the Manila Economic Cultural Office in Taiwan, and I always had the impression MECO was set up so that Taiwanese investors could be attracted to the Philippines. What I did not know, honestly, was there are 150,000, probably more, 150,000 Filipinos in Taiwan. Nakakausap mo ba sila? Have you had the chance to mingle with them?
Yes, right. No, that's actually the purpose why I came here. So financial literacy and entrepreneurship yung topic namin. So si country representative Sylvester
Okay, we've had a disruption in our signal. Okay, there you go. Go ahead, Vince. Napuputo lang. Whoops. Gab, we might have to go and shift to the landline instead, or the mobile, because there is disruption in the signal.
Ayan. So, mas okay signal ko?
Okay, now, what did you do? Okay, Gab, we'll go for a break. When we return, let's establish our setup with Vince. Maybe he just needs a new location. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, let's try it again. We are speaking with Vince Rapisura, financial expert and mentor who is currently in Taiwan. Vince, welcome back.
Hi, thank you. Sorry, naputol yung ating linya kanina.
Okay, going back to my question, nakausap mo na ba o nakahalubilo mo na ba or have you had the chance to mingle with the over 150,000 Filipinos in Taiwan?
Yes, oo. Yung trinain natin actually, Cito, no, mga factory workers and teachers, domestic workers, and caregivers dito sa Taiwan. And nakausap natin sila about how to fix their finances. Kasi marami pala sa kanila nababaon sa utang. And also, they want to know about mga investments on how they can place their earnings in the Philippines. So, syempre, prinomote natin ang SSS, ang Pag-ibig, ang mga retail treasury bonds ng gobyerno.
Okay, now that was the reason why we reached out to you because my wife said that the Pag-ibig program or some program of Pag-ibig was actually a good investment. You know, sorry, I'm Jurassic. I said, hello, Pag-ibig is housing. What investments are you guys talking about? And apparently, I'm the illiterate in the room.
Actually, the Pag-ibig was established as primarily the national savings program of the government. Unfortunately, that's not the popular knowledge.
Okay.
Savings program.
So it was established as a national savings program?
Yes. Oo. Kasi remember, ang every one of us, especially employees, are required to enroll in Pag-ibig, and then you save every month 100 pesos, and then there's a counterpart from the employer which is 100 pesos also. So that's the main essence of the fund of Pag-ibig. So it's a mutual fund where we all become a members, and then the fund that they get from that's the fund that they use for housing.
Okay, so hindi siya housing talaga, fund development siya. And so, okay, now talk to us about what you are promoting, especially to Filipinos in Taiwan regarding investments, because there's so many people looking for investment possibilities. Nauuwi lang sa baboy, sa manok, sa buy and sell. But the next level is to invest in funds such as that. Could you explain that?
Right. So I started investing in Pag-ibig MP2 in 2013. Ako na surprise talaga ako kasi the performance has really been very good. The average has been 6% in the past 10 years. Per annum. And mind you, Cito, this is tax-free because it's a government program. And then it's also 100% guaranteed by the government kasi, again, it's a national savings program. Compared to the banks na ang savings insured is only up to 500,000 pesos by the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation. For MP2, it is unlimited. So you can put in millions and millions and it's 100% covered by the government.
Okay, and so what are these? What is this MP2 you're talking about?
Okay, so we have the regular Pag-ibig Savings one. That's the one where we should be regularly contributing every month. We are required to do that. If you earn 5,000 pesos per month, you are required to do that, no? To contribute 100 pesos. And then if you're employed, the employer will contribute 100 pesos also as a counterpart. Now, if you want to save more, Pag-ibig opened another savings product. It's called Pag-ibig MP2. It's modified savings Pag-ibig 2, no? And so the term is for 5 years. you can start with 500 pesos, and any deposits that you want to place should be at least 500 pesos. Unlike Pag-ibig 1 or P1, you are where you can put in every month, no? Ito namang Pag-ibig MP2, you can put in anytime you want. You can add up to your account. So you can open an account and you can save on that account every month, every week, every day, or even just once, no? Kung ano yung gusto mo, whatever your purpose for the account is.
So you have to be a Pag-ibig member. Kasi dati akong Pag-ibig, and then when I left the Philippines, I used to be a Pag-ibig member. When I left the Philippines, basically my employer said, you know, we can pull it all out for you para clear ka na when you leave the country. And I never really reinstated. So what happens if you're no longer a member, you're not a registered member?
Okay. As far as I know, Cito, once a member, you are always a member. So you can withdraw your funds. It can be down to zero, but your membership will not disappear. Very applicable to people who are migrating. I have family members who migrated, and they also took all of their funds, pero they're still members. And when they heard about Pag-ibig MP2, bumalik lang sila. So for you, for your case, I think pwede ka pa rin bumalik.
Okay, now you mentioned na the Pag-ibig 1, basic fund yun, all employees, you have to contribute 100 pesos a month if your salary is 5,000 above. Now for Pag-ibig MP2 or modified Pag-ibig 2, you can invest as little as 500 to how much? No limit, sabi mo?
Yes, no limit. Kasi what the Pag-ibig will do with the fund that they mobilize, they use that to fund the salary loans. So Pag-ibig also gives salary loans to employees aside from housing loans.
Well, Vince, I know you're a very careful individual, and you're not going to put your name and your reputation on the line by endorsing something you haven't double-checked. Now, how sure are you about this setup? Because inaaral mo ba yung performance ng mga platforms ng Pag-ibig? Because nagpapautang sila for salary loans. How good are the people in paying back those salary loans? Baka mamaya pinautang mo yung pamana ng mga apo mo.
Oo. Actually, maganda yung performance dito, no? And when I attend the chairman's report of Pag-ibig Fund, they always report that they get very good ratings or very good audit from the Commission on Audit. So, laging unqualified ang kanilang ang kanilang audit report from the Commission on Audit. And that sends a strong signal na talagang yung management ng pondo ay maayos. And kaya sabi ko, these things should also be reported in the media kasi to also build trust with the agencies, not just the people, not just the politicians who are running through with our elections. Kasi institutions dapat talaga yung strong sa atin, and that's what I'm happy with Pag-ibig MP2. And when I compared, I tried to take a look at the dividends in the past since its inception, talagang napakaganda. And ang lowest that I saw was about 4%, and the highest was 8%. And I also talk from experience kasi I tried it out myself, and very encouraging siya. One of the things that you just have to be mindful of is, of course, Pag-ibig is not a bank na kunwari nag-time deposit ka sa bank and you opened a time deposit, you want to pre-terminate it, you can get your funds immediately. For Pag-ibig MP2, it takes about 2 weeks to about a month to be able to liquidate, to pre-terminate your savings.
So pwede mo pa rin pre-terminate. But before we even go to pre-terminations and headaches, Vince, can you explain that? Kasi who can do it? You're promoting it in Taiwan. So lalapit sa'yo, may mga Sir Vince, paano ba yung dapat namin gawin? Pwede ba kami dyan? Baka maipit pera namin. I mean, okay, you said 500. What is the ideal investment for an employee or for, some people who just have some extra cash na hindi pa naman nila gagamitin.
Right, oo.
Kasi, sorry Vince, kasi there are people with money that's not big enough to put up a business, but too little that they're unhappy to just put it in the maleta.
Yeah, oo. So, well, it's good to point out that we have to diversify our investments. So don't put everything in Pag-ibig MP2. So that's very clear. And then when you save, kailangan po na you start with a purpose first. Para saan ba ito? Is this for, as you said, no? Is this for accumulating capital for your business? Is this for the education of your children? Is this for your retirement fund? So you can actually open multiple accounts in Pag-ibig for that, or you can choose also other financial products appropriate for the purpose that you want. So sa Pag-ibig, ang usual po na nire-recommend ko, maganda ito usually kapag pang-edukasyon ng anak, no? So lalo na sa mga OFWs, I ask them to open an account every year kasi you can have multiple accounts with Pag-ibig MP2. They open an account every year for 5 years. Tapos once their child would already go to college, so may every year nagmamature na account, and that would now be the budget that they will use for the education of the child for that year.
In other words, for every grade, okay, sige, para sa grade 6 niya, mag-open na tayo ngayon. Pagdating ng 12 months or 1 year and a half, pwede nating bunutin yun ang pambabayad natin for the tuition fee for grade 6. And then another account for grade 7, grade 8. Ganun ba?
Oo. But usually for college ko siya tinitignan kasi usually ang tinatarget talaga natin the lower income groups, and they usually go to the public schools. So ang college talaga yon ang tinitignan natin. Kasi 5 years yung term Cito So you have to wait 5 years. So on the 6th year mo siya technically mawi-withdraw. So medyo long term yung...
Okay. Buti nagtanong ako. Kasi so, ibig sabihin, you have money, you put it in, and it stays in for 5 years unless you pre-terminate, lugi ka. But 5 years patulog or papatabain yung pera mo.
So, yun, going back to your question, so magkano yung ilalagay natin? First, when you build up your savings, when you're building up your emergency savings, medyo hindi maganda yung Pag-ibig MP2 because it's not immediately withdrawable. So, if your purpose for emergency savings, no, na something na kailangan mong mabunot agad-agad, then Pag-ibig MP2 is not the most efficient way to do that. So kung ang purpose, as I mentioned, pang education, pang patayo ng bahay, then that's good. And that would depend on how much your budget is for those things.
Kumbaga, you are looking, as an example, it would be something more of a time deposit arrangement. You have the time, you have the money, you deposit it, and then you forget about it for the next 5 years. Now, what happens? Well, I know you're not with Pag-ibig, Vince, pero mukhang kabisado mo naman eh. What happens when you pre-terminate? Because that's usually, people always say, you pre-terminate, you have to pay a fee or you lose some money.
Right. So there are there are several conditions. So may conditions na if you get separated from work, if you somebody gets sick in your family or you get sick, somebody dies in the family, if an OFW gets repatriated, end of contract, you can pre-terminate your Pag-ibig MP2 and there will be no pre-termination fees. So aside from those that I mentioned, if the conditions are not met, then there would be a fee, but the fee would be 50% of the dividend that you have earned. So for example, last year, the dividend rate was 7%, 7.03% to be exact, no? The 3.5% will go to Pag-ibig as the fees, and the 3.5% will go to you. So that means the capital is still preserved and you still earn. And effectively, if you take a look at it, it's still higher than most time deposit rates, even if it's pre-terminated with a fee.
Okay, Vince, can you please explain that to our audience? Because, most of us don't, wala naman kaming time deposit eh. So, paki-explain nga, kung papipiliin mo between a bank and the Pag-ibig, what's the scenario?
Okay. So, for me, if you're going to use if the purpose of your savings is emergency savings, then good to place it in banks for time deposit, because yung time deposit sa banks, you can pre-terminate it anytime and it's very liquid. It can also preserve the capital, although yung interest rate na ibibigay sa'yo once you pre-terminate it will be lower than what they have quoted you originally. So that's the advantage for for time deposits. A lot of people think kasi na yung time deposit ay hindi na pre-terminate, that you have to finish the term before you can withdraw it. But in reality, you can actually pre-terminate it, but the interest rate that they will give you would be lower. In my experience, the capital is also preserved, pero talagang wala ka na talagang kikitain sa interest.
Sa Pag-ibig, meron.
Yes, sa Pag-ibig, meron pa rin kahit na mag-pre-terminate ka. At
Okay.
I really, Cito, even I took a look at all the commercial banks in the Philippines. Hindi talaga nila makayang talunin yung Pag-ibig MP2 dividend rate. Although, the difference also is for time deposits, you know how much you are getting because the bank already tells you the rate beforehand.
Fixed
For
rate.
Pag-ibig, yes, fixed rate siya. For Pag-ibig MP2, it's variable because although it's a savings program, it's not a bank, it's a mutual fund. Therefore, we earn from dividends from it. And dividends are declared every March or April of the year. And it varies from its inception from 4% to 8% per annum.
But they always have a payout. Hindi yung nalulugi or sorry, walang kinita last year.
Oo, wala pa naman. Kaya actually, ang interesting na tanong sa akin dito ng mga OFWs ay, paano Sir Vince kung gamitin yan sa Maharlika Fund? Kasi na-chismis dati na tinitignan yung Pag-ibig na gamitin for Maharlika Fund. And I told them na, yeah, of course, that's one of the risks in getting to Pag-ibig, but we are not 100% powerless. What we can do also is if it's going to be used for for the Maharlika Fund and you don't agree with it, you have the power to withdraw from Pag-ibig MP2 and do the pre-termination.
Well, you can also take it to court as far as I'm concerned, because that was not the design of that investment engine, and the contract is between the people and Pag-ibig, and does not involve any third party who can meddle with the money. Anyway, that's a different political issue, Vince. But when you study the profile of Pag-ibig payouts or interests, the interest they give compared to private banks, what did you learn?
Ayan. So for if you have if you have about 500 pesos, you get the same dividend rate for Pag-ibig. So it's regardless of the amount. For commercial bank, the amount habang tumataas yung amount na nilalagay mo for time deposit, doon pa lang lumalaki yung interest rate, no? So yung dividend sa Pag-ibig MP2, it's applicable to all. So it's democratized, kumbaga. It's not based on how rich you are, diba? Ayun. And the highest interest rate that I got from a bank is you have to place 1 million pesos. This is from a commercial bank, no? 1 million pesos. And it attracts about 4% per annum. But they will still take out 20% withholding tax. So yung 4% mo, ang effective rate niyan talagang 3.2%. For Pag-ibig MP2, it's tax-free. So when they say it's 7%, you get net 7%.
Okay, and on the average, I'm sure you did the multi-year average. Ano yung lumalabas na actual interest rate in a five-year period? Pag-ibig versus private.
Yeah. So commercial banks, usually it would range with 1% to 3% per annum. With 1 million to, I'm talking about 1 million. For Pag-ibig MP2, that would be an average of 6% per annum.
Aray ko, tax free pa.
Tax free. I think this is a very good way to challenge the banks also to improve their financial products. So if Pag-ibig MP2 can do it, why can't they, di ba?
Well, your point is correct, and that has actually been a topic of discussion in the West now, where the opinion makers are challenging banks and exposing the banking system. That the global banking system is not pro-consumer, and that is why when my wife pointed out that Pag-ibig is a better performance, sabi ko, foreigner na itong nagsasabi sa akin, sabi ko, hanap tayong expert. Anyway, Vince, let's go for a quick break. When we return, I'll ask you to do a summary of Pag-ibig MP2, and then please tell us about the other investments. Kasi maganda yan eh. That's a nice investment platform because you can put in as little as 500 to as much as 5 million, depending on your capacity and your faith. Anyway, we'll go for a quick break. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, welcome back to the program Agenda, and we are having a very informative, very interesting conversation with Vince Rapisura, financial expert and founder of the Social Enterprise Development Partnerships Inc. or SEDPI, and we have been talking about the great investment opportunity with Pag-ibig. Okay, Pag-ibig MP2. And for those of you who are wondering, Cito, why are you saying investment? It turns out, according to Vince, that Pag-ibig is not a construction or housing agency. Pag-ibig is a fund development agency. Nakilala lang sila sa pabahay program nila. And apparently, they also give salary loans. So, Vince, let's go to your final assessment of the Pag-ibig Investment Platform MP2. Meron pa bang iba sa Pag-ibig?
Actually, yung sa savings natin sa Pag-ibig, they only have two Pag-ibig Pag-ibig 1 and the MP2.
Okay. Now, are there, so okay na okay sa'yo yung Pag-ibig apparently because you put in your own money.
Right. Yes, of course.
Okay, now, other platforms. Someone said, my Código here says that the SSS is also worth considering. The SSS or Social Security System Peso Fund.
Ayun. Actually, the peso fund no longer exists, no? Yung peso and flexi fund. It's been replaced, Cito, and we call it the Workers' Investment and Savings Program or WISP. So there are two kinds of WISPs. Merong WISP at saka WISP Plus. So I also like this investment products coming from SSS because again, it's a government program. It's part of our responsibility as Filipinos to provide social safety nets for all of us. Kasi social insurance actually itong SSS natin. And it's the best foundational, no? I want to emphasize foundational. It's the best foundational retirement pension program that we have. In fact, when I checked, no, if you take a look at the amount that you're putting in SSS and compare it with other private pension funds, hindi kaya talagang talunin ng private. So the SSS, if yung WISP at saka WISP Plus ng SSS, the main function really here is for retirement. This is for your retirement. If you top up your regular SSS contributions, it will go to WISP, and WISP will be given back to you together with the earnings when you retire at the age of 60, optional, or 65 years old, mandatory.
Okay, paano sorry, sabay-sabay yung question ko eh. Kasi what if you're already retired? Can you continue to make an investment on WISP? Kasi there are people who are really looking for investment engines. Now, where can we put our money? We don't want to put it in a bank. We don't want to put it in a business. We just want to put it somewhere where it is growing little by little.
Yeah, unfortunately for SSS, it's only for those who are not yet in the pension age or retirement age. So that's not for you. But there are other options. We'll go to that. Meron tayong retail treasury bonds and retail dollar bonds, also from the government. I also espouse.
Yeah, okay, so sorry, Vince, no, but okay, so with SSS, it's only for current active members who are not yet retired. Now, there are people, I kind of had to catch up on my contribution, top it all off so that by the time I hit the mark, medyo okay na ako kasi self-employed. But what are your advice? What's your advice for members who might want to take advantage of WISP, and why?
Yeah, so take advantage of WISP because it will really increase your pension in the first 15 years. Kasi yung WISP natin, once you retire, that will only last for 15 years. So SSS will distribute the your return back your investment spread monthly over a period of 15 years. So that's a very good way of increasing your pension when you monthly pension when you retire. So WISP Plus has just been launched this year. Yung WISP naman, if I'm not mistaken, this is 2 or 3 years ago. And from what I know, the WISP interest rate that has been earned is at par with Pag-ibig MP2. So nung 2020, 2021, and 2019, this is about 5 to 6% per annum.
Okay, so yung go ahead, sorry.
So ang difference din ng WISP is you cannot withdraw everything, unlike you cannot pre-terminate it, unlike Pag-ibig MP2, no, or time deposits. You can only withdraw a portion of it, and I think it's a maximum of 40%, because primarily the purpose of this is for your retirement. So 60% would still be retained, and if you pre-terminate it, the 40%, no, the WISP part, you will be charged, I think, a 1% service fee.
Ayun. So para yan dun sa mga walang disiplina, who always look at temptation instead of running away from it. I have money there, I want to touch it, etc. So, okay, so good. Now, we're down to our last 4 minutes, Vince. So, any other recommendations, suggestions that are government offered safe investments that you were talking about, yung dollar, etc.?
Yeah. So another government program that we can participate would be the retail treasury bonds and retail dollar bonds. Even if you watch the business news these days, they would really go for bonds ngayong mga panahon na to, because the stock market is not really performing well, and because the interest rate from the central bank is high, the interest rate on bonds would also be high. So magandang po ito. The last retail treasury bond that has been offered to retail investors like us would be, I think, 6.125% per annum. Pero this has 20% withholding tax. So nasa 4.9% yung neto. This is also 5 years or 5.5 years usually. Sometimes they offer 7 years in terms of the term. You can sell your bonds in the secondary market if you want to liquidate it, if you need the money, no? But of course, this is the market rates. So aside from this, for retail treasury bond, we can start with as low as 5,000 pesos, and then you can top up with 1,000 pesos in multiples of 1,000 pesos thereafter. For the retail dollar bond, this has been issued in 2020 for the first time, and the minimum investment here is $300 and an additional of $100 in multiples of that thereafter. I also like the retail dollar bond because it gives us an opportunity to invest in a hard currency, kasi ang peso ang considered tayo as a weaker currency. So it's a good way to diversify your investment portfolio. And lastly, ang gusto kong i-promote, and I think baka magulat ka dito, Cito, no? I'd go for time deposits in rural banks. Basta less than 500,000 yung ilalagay natin para safe na safe pa rin, because I'm really for funds and financial institutions that would really support the development of micro enterprises, no? And rural banks do that. Also cooperatives.
And you told us, I think it was you who told me last time, that rural banks are very competitive, if not offering better rates than commercial banks in Metro Manila.
Yes, yeah, that's true. No, they offer higher interest rates than the commercial banks. So if you place time deposits with them that's greater than 5 years, so 5 years plus 1 day, the withholding tax coming from the government will also be waived. So tax-free na yan.
Yung sa dollar investment, what did you call it earlier? Yung
retail dollar bond.
Retail dollar bond, is that subject to tax? I presume it is.
Yes, it's also subject to tax. One thing also, for the retail treasury bond and retail dollar bond, we have to wait for the offering coming from the Bureau of the Treasury. Usually, it happens February, August, and November of the year. Kaya kung usually yan pinaghahandaan ko, mag-August na. So ngayon pa lang I already save up no para maabangan.
Okay, so final question. Okay, why does it make sense to do the retail dollar bond investment kung OFW ka, teacher ka, etc.?
So one of the principles of investing is that you really have to diversify, and one of the ways that we can diversify is to invest in strong currencies like the dollar. So the US dollar in particular. So it's a good way to diversify our portfolio, our investments, because 'di ba lumalakas yung dollar usually, and that's a good way to preserve the purchasing power of our hard-earned money.
Okay, well, Vince, as always, you do not disappoint. You've given us so much, and I thank God for the answered prayer. Kanina pa ako nagdadasal, wag mapuputol yung signal mo. And you have taught us so much today. Thank you for your time. God bless you. Stay safe and say hello to our kababayans there.
Yeah, salamat din, Cito, and see you next time. I hope to be back in your show.
Okay, you will, definitely. And give us a ring if something new comes up. Thank you, Vince.
Yeah.
Okay, that's our teacher, lecturer for today, Vince Rapisura. And now let's close the program with our blessing for this week. It's short and sweet, and it goes. It is from Cory Ten Boom. Never be afraid to trust an unknown future to a known God. And this is my bit of wisdom for you, because when you trust in God, you are definitely going to be blessed. I'm Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us today. Please keep it here on One News. God bless all of you.